Things just took a very interesting turn in San Antonio. After De'Aaron Fox was all the talk after his debut, it was the sneaky playmaking from Stephon Castle getting 10 plus assists in 2 straight games. Now, top 10 in the NBA in assists per game, that is leveling up the Spurs to another echelon where we did not expect to see this at all, at least not from Castle, not yet, and we have to dive into everything that's been going on with him, but also some depth scoring for the San Antonio Spurs that is, once again, some of the best in the NBA, so much going on, and hey, before we get into it, just a reminder to hit that subscribe button. We're so close to 11,000, we are just like 50 subs away or something, so thank you so much for watching, tuning in every single day. And we're going to start here with some of the depth scoring, because before we get into Castle, we have to show the bigger picture here, right? Of course, we've missed De'Aaron Fox for 8 games this season. We've already missed Dylan Harper for 3, really more than 3 if we're being real. We've also missed Luke Kornet for 7 of the 9 games, but it's the depth scoring here. You can see, this is from Basketball Reference, I've sorted the San Antonio Spurs by points per game this season. Of course, Wemby's on top at 24.3, leading the team in rebounding and blocks, leading the league, I believe, in both. De'Aaron Fox, of course, 24 points in that one game. But after that 24-point game from Fox, you can count them. The Spurs have 8 different players. 8 of them averaging at least 10 points per game. Now, I understand the 1-game sample size from Fox kind of skews it, but also, Jeremy Sochan had a dud of an offensive game a couple of games ago, and last game versus the Pelicans, he put on a good performance, and even he's averaging 9.3. There's a world where we're pushing 10 different people averaging 10 points a game. Now, to me, that would actually be insane. I don't even think that's reasonably possible, but right now with the Spurs, with some people coming in and out, it's all these other guys chipping in that is really making this team elite, and the shooting is a big part of this, right? And if we look at who's making the most threes for the Spurs, of course, Vassell, no surprise at the top, but Harrison Barnes as well, the Black Falcon, Mr. 100%. This guy has been rolling. Barnes shooting 55% from the field, 50% from 3 on 2.7 makes per game, and big shout outs to Champagny and even Lindy Waters in his 3-game sample since coming back from his injury. In just 10 minutes per game, he's making 1.3 threes. Like, if he were to play 20 minutes a night, who knows how many threes he'd make. If you do the math, I guess about 2.5, but that doesn't matter. But these are all the players making at least 1 3 a game for the Spurs, and you'll even notice that Wemby doesn't make the cut because he's at 0.9, though I expect that to go up soon. But I gotta highlight some of these guys, right? Because the Spurs are not off to this 7-2 start, 2nd place in the West, without guys like Harrison Barnes stepping up. Like, there was a couple games where he didn't look good, but not only has that 3-point shooting and depth scoring been there, his defense has not been bad either. The efficiency, I believe it's 92% true shooting at this point, something like that. He has been unbelievable. But again, even Julian Champagny, these back-to-back games recently, a great game versus the Pelicans, but an even better one in the NBA Cup game versus the Rockets, putting up over 20 points and 5 steals, plus being solid on the glass. And even Devin Vassell, even though his 3-point shooting is only at 36.5% so far this year, he's not been afraid to let it fly. And when he's been confident, it has been dropping. And Devin Vassell, when he's on, is a huge difference maker for this team. But I also love how these 3 guys have really embraced their role, because look, this Spurs lineup is really deep. You can look at all of these players, and I know some of them are hurt right now, like Kornet, like Dylan Harper, but this team is deep, and we need to show that every single night to really go out there and be like, hey, we say this team is deep, but let's go out and prove it, and they've done that. But one part of this team that has allowed our guys to step up like this has been Stephon Castle, and Stephon Castle has been off to an incredible start playmaking wise, right? Last 2 games, this is the 2nd straight game with 10 plus assists. He had 14, I think 13 assists the day before that. He's averaging 7.4 assists per game this year. How good is that? Well, that's good enough for 10th in the entire NBA. Actually, I'm hiding assists if I do that. Here are the players above him. Yeah, Davion Mitchell, Ja Morant, Drew Holiday, Tyrese Maxey, James Harden, Austin Reeves, Josh Giddey, Cade Cunningham, and Nikola Jokic at number 1. Like, look, there's a bunch of stats we could go through here, but I also want to point out that of all of these players in the top 10 of assists per game, Stephon Castle actually has the 3rd highest field goal percentage, behind only Nikola Jokic and Davion Mitchell. And again, like, Jokic, it makes sense. He's a center. The rest of these guys are primary ball handlers, most of them point guards. And Mitchell, credit to him, he's been great this year, 37% from 3. But, like, he's the only other guard here with a higher field goal percentage. Stephon Castle not only is living up to that playmaker status, which I don't think we expected. Look, when Dylan Harper went down, I've talked about this before, I don't think we were looking at Castle saying, well, okay, well, now he's really going to pick up the assists. I was like, listen, he wasn't looking comfortable with the assists early on. I mean, look, he had a good number of them, 8 here, 6 there. But like, he wasn't letting the game come to him. He was trying to force some stuff, being that primary playmaker. But now he's learning, and it's really changing the Spurs offense. And just take a look at what he had to say about it. He said, look, I feel like it just comes down to making the right play, making the right read. Sometimes I try to be too aggressive, trying to make the spectacular play. But sometimes the spectacular play is the easy one. So just understanding that. And I think he really has been understanding that. Again, back-to-back 10-assist games. And head coach Mitch Johnson even said, he's, I think what he say, he's hitting singles or he's swinging for singles, something like that. Baseball reference, basically saying, look, he's letting the game come to him. Nothing too fancy. He's just going out there, doing what he needs to do. He's getting on base, and now all of a sudden, he's top 10 in the league in assists per game. And for a team that is now getting back De'Aaron Fox, where I really thought De'Aaron Fox would come out of this game, and do I have the box score from last night? I do. Where I thought De'Aaron Fox would come out and really lead the team in assists because he's a guy that throughout his career has averaged a good amount of assists. No, they're easing him back into the lineup, and Stephon Castle instead puts up 14 assists with just two turnovers. That's 7-2 assist to turnover ratio. And again, Waters can do some stuff off the bench. He had 2 assists in 10 minutes and 0 assists in his other game as the backup point guard after Dylan Harper went down. But this is something that I don't think we expected, but it's something that opens up the Spurs offense in a way that I didn't really anticipate. The quick ascension from Stephon Castle to, like, from... yeah, okay, he fills in a point guard, but he's really more of a combo guard, and we drafted him for his combo guard skills and his defense anyway, to now just like, oh yeah, this guy is letting the game come to him. He has learned so quickly. Again, it's a small sample. Like, I don't necessarily expect this to happen every single game. He's going to have other games that are high turnover games, but it just feels different, right? Watching these last 2 games, it does feel like, just like Mitch Johnson said, just like Stephon Castle saying, it feels like he's letting the game come to him. It really feels like he made those simple plays. And if we look at, again, some of these assists here, this one here, I mean, this one's kind of fancy, but a little, he just sees Sochan behind him, little drop pass, it's very simple, nothing too fancy. The lob to Wemby, that's going to be there 80 million times a year. And for a guy who's still putting up 18 points a game on 49% shooting from the field, I think it's just amazing what we're seeing from Stephon Castle, the trio of Castle, Fox, and Wemby yesterday and for the rest of this season, and hopefully the next long time, at least 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. Well, I guess Fox is really the limiting factor on that. It's going to be incredible. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts. How many assists per game do you think Castle can average over the whole season? I expect it to go down, but to drop 14 dimes in De'Aaron Fox's debut is enough to impress me and make me think like, look, I don't know if he's a top 10 assist per game guy in the NBA, but why not top 20? Why not average 7 assists a game this year? I think it's actually achievable. Leave your thoughts down below. It's an interesting spot that he's in. That'll do it for this episode. Hey, subscribe to the channel. We're 40, 50 subs away from 11,000. We would love to hit that very soon. And look, this channel is everything thanks to you guys for tuning in every single day. I'm your host, Josh Gosse, and I'll catch you on the next one.